our second roundtable discussion of the day, co-productions in the Mediterranean. So we are, these guys, I'm not doing anything, are inaugurating first Israeli-Greece co-production for a short animated film. We have with us a producer from Hive Studio in Israel, representing this case, and Anestopoulou, who is our festival director, but here today she is a producer for Animasyros Productions, which is a parallel track for the festival, doing production, and the work is being directed by a Greek director, Stelios Koupetoris, who's also a writer and a sound designer. The Greek studio that's participating in the production is represented by Kleopatra Korai, Lokey studio from Greece. So I'm going to let them tell us all about it.
Hello. I'm also a lawyer because a lot of discussion was before about spending a lot of time with lawyers. So, so under all these capacities, I'm going to just make a small introduction, and I will give the floor to the people that actually do the real job in the in this film. Well, Animasyros production started in 2016. That's an old story. It's maybe a known one, but we've recently started. We started with some small commission works for organizations and non-for-profits, and then we did a TV series dedicated to the Greek animation scene. And in 2022 or 2021, there was a proposal that came to us. We have this really nice script that we would like, that the director would like you to take over this animation short film. So we met with Stelios, and the film is called P. And we started working together. It was our first time in short filmmaking, and we were really, we didn't know. We were really hesitant about how we will manage to find more funds, because we have already secured the funding from the Greek Film Center. We made our own investment in the project, and then we said, okay, we have to see how we can collaborate with other countries in order to be able and finish this incredible. I mean, it's our project and we like it a lot, but you will see yourselves from what the creatives will show you that it's for us it's a project that has an international potential. So first, we looked among our friends and collaborators for a long time in the festival to see with who we will do the animation. Lokey, Kleopatra was our first choice, because I think that this is a film that really fits in the identity and the way that this studio works. Also, it is a studio dominated by women Greek animators, so this is something that we really liked as well. And then we started looking for co-productions. It's not an easy task for Greeks to find co-productions because of the low, let's say, wage that it's in Greece. We met Amit last year when we invited him to participate at the Agora. We looked him up, and what he does in Hive Studio appeared to us that is something that we would like to pitch to him, the idea, and to try and do the co-production. So we did. he listened to us, and he will tell you more about his contribution in this film that we are hoping, and we will have it ready as early as 2024 early. So you will be able to see it for sure in the next Animasyros, but we are now designing our distribution and promotional path of this film. So yeah, as a lawyer, I said a lot, so I'm giving the floor to the next one.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amit. I'm the founder of the Hive Studios, and again, this collaboration came to be from last year at Animasyros, and it was a great opportunity to work with a team from Greece, and we'll talk a bit more about the production in a second. But I wanted to share with you a bit about the aspect of co-producing with Israel. And how this is capable, because I think that we are in Israel, we have amazing talent and amazing studios and productions that are coming to be in the recent years. And a co-production is in a sense a collaboration between two countries. And this venture is actually something that can happen in these kinds of events, these kinds of opportunities. It's just a matter of jumping on this option of finding the right partner and understanding that the project works together, and that we both can connect culturally, but also aesthetically, but also from a production standpoint, that we are in chemistry together. And that's something that we were seeking very much. Israel has several options for production, but so first of all, we have 100 million shekels is about 20 million euros budget a year for cultural fund. It's not a lot. But actually it's a bit more than that. Sorry, it's a bit higher than that. So it's about 25, if I'm not mistaken, to see it. We have about 500 members of the Animation Guild, but in addition to that, we have over 5,000 people in the animation industry that are currently working in gaming, in corporate companies, and in the high-tech industry. And we are offering at the moment in Israel a 30% service rebate. This is different from the cultural fund investment that you could do from a co-production, and unfortunately you can't join them together. So you can have an option of working with Israel as a service, meaning approaching us with the financing that you already have and spending it in Israel, and then you could get a 30% rebate. Or you could partner with us and we become a partner in the project, and that is kind of what we did on P. Our local industry is very versatile. We have talent. Several of them are even here today that have done series work, and we have done feature projects and short films that have gone very far, but we hope to go even further. And we are always looking for the opportunities to work with additional countries. And this one was our first Greek-Israeli short film co-production, and it is such an honor to do that. Our co-production financing, or the cultural ministry financing, is split into several different, I would say, funds. Each fund has its own agenda, and depending on what kind of production you're doing, you need to apply to those funds. So several funds go, you can apply only as a feature project, or several can go as a short film. Each fund requires a certain or a different application form or a different application process. In addition to these main public funds that you could apply, and there is about 2-3 times a year application, you can also apply to the regional funds. And this is what actually we did with P. We applied to a regional fund in the West Negev, and we kind of got the financing to support the production as a minority co-production. So Greece is the majority, and we had the ability to finance as a minor partner in this production. In addition to the cultural funds in Israel, you also have the independent funds. These ones are not connected to the financing that you get from the government, actually some of which could be getting from independent, if it's the lottery fund or if it's from a local area who is supporting the arts. And these could be joined with the cultural fund. But as you can see, Israel is a mess. And a lot of this also works with how you work with the culturals. You need to find a producer, you need to find a partner in Israel in order to work with this and to find how to kind of make your way through this labyrinth of financing in Israel. Because as you know, we are slowly getting into the industry, and it's a bit of a process to also teach the government and how these kinds of things need to be financed. And you do need someone who has already done this in the past, and we have several of our delegation Israeli members here that have done this and know how to work the system, I would say. In addition to the public funds and to the independent funds, we also have the broadcasters that are supportive of the arts, but not, I wouldn't say that there is high financing opportunities with them, but they are slowly growing to understand the potential of animation. And I could also, of course, share this with you, and we'll see, but we've tried to gather a way of what do you need when you want to apply in Israel. And it's usually pretty much the same that it is in Europe or in North America or South America. But there are specific things that you do need to apply with and to prepare in order to get this financing off the ground. This is something that all the unions have accepted. And this is what we've done when we kind of applied to the projects. And depending on what stage we are in the production, because we could be joining in a development part or a production or even just post-production. That is from I would say, the technical bureaucratic aspect. And I would like to pass it to Stelios to tell us a bit about P.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Stelios. I'm the director, writer, and sound designer of our short film P. So P is a short story about information control and the contribution of the entertaining industry in the creation of dangerous and racist stereotypes throughout its history. So P, we use a lot of symbolism to tell a very important story, a story without dialogue. That's it. So I started I finished this story 2019, as soon as I finished my first live action film. And ever since I was developing this story until 2020, which I finished, and we started our production.
I will add that basically when we met at Animasyros, it was kind of I didn't know where I'm going into. I mean, I kind of met with Stelios, and he told me about the project, and essentially it was kind of an interesting way because I was trying to fit it inside the Israeli system, and it's very hard to in Israel. You need to find it to work with the Israeli culture and it's pretty standalone in the Middle East, is to find this kind of how would the financing capabilities in Israel work with this kind of project. Now, luckily enough, there's no dialogue, so that's one checkpoint that we're okay. So it's very international, and it is something that we could work with. Secondly, also the story-wise, it was something that we could relate to, because I mean we are all under the impression of the public propaganda and such like that, and it was something that was helping us to kind of connect on the project. And when we came to production, we had our own differences of how this pipeline would work, and maybe you could share a bit from your side, and I'll go back.
You want to play the video first? Okay. We're going to share a small video of actually a making of the production. It's now we're, I would say, not even in the halfway to the production, but it's a good example where we are and to see a little bit of the artwork that's happening. And it's going to be a nice example to talk about the pipeline also. So this is Stelios actually giving directions, and I will explain you later how we work with both studios, also in Israel and in Athens. And the upper part, there's some tests, and actually is the animatic. And here is some more videos of Stelios directing, along with his dog. And so above you see, of course, the parts of the animatic and from the storyboard and the process of animation. That's our main character. So I would like to say when we started working on this project, it was Maria came to me, as she said, to be part as Lokey to produce the animation of the studios, and then we talked with Stelios and started discussing the artistic and the technical approach of the project. And we decided to go with the 2D animation rigged characters, and with the support of frame-by-frame animation when it was needed. On a few months after, actually, it was like Animasyros and Hive and Stelios got in this co-production with Hive. So the co-production was not just financial. It's a studio that also is going to work and animate parts of the film. So we had to go through these meetings to make artistic decisions, which are going to be the parts of animation that's going to stay in Lokey, and which is going to be the collaboration of the Hive. And it's getting pretty interesting because right now the way we work, we have these weekly meetings. We've been through some meetings actually to share these responsibilities, and most of the parts is going to be the frame-by-frame animation and the compositing also. But it's pretty interesting because right now we're talking about this kind of, I would say, Frankenstein characters that they're going to be half rigged animated, and the rest of the part is going to be frame by frame. So it might be we're trying on animations that in the same characters both studios will work in the same animation at that time. I'd like to say also as a team we're a rather small team. The main animator, the lead animator, is Selena Paplaki. She's sitting down there. and rigger. And we have help in some additional animation with Anestopoulou that's sitting next to her. So actually that's what, as Maria said, it's like mainly a girls group. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
I think one thing that we...
Oh, Olga.
Yeah.
Yes, and that designs the backgrounds and the character designs, yeah. Yeah.
So one thing that we really agreed was that the film, when initially was submitted for funding, was 9.5 minutes. Now it's 6.5. So this is something that we all agreed upon, I think. And I think that was a decision that it was the first thing that Amit personally contributed to the conversation, and I think it was something that was it was welcomed by Stelios, who's also very experienced in filmmaking, not only under his capacity as a director, but he's also an editor. He's a sound design. He's a multi-talented artist. So that was the first contribution, and I think that it was really vital for the project, because 9.5 minutes was, for me, now the message that this that this film will convey is much stronger and will be more intrusive and more, and I think we'll have more potential in international markets in the distribution. So, yeah.
No, I completely agree. I think that's when we started the production, or the pre-production, I would say, that Stelios was incredible with the understanding of how he was listening to us. So that's kind of, it's a partnership, and it was a way to, and there was a lot of things that we felt that we wanted to change, or we wanted to apply in a project that already was on its way, because you already started it beforehand, and we kind of jumped in, and we were kind of like, it's always finding the right things to say, because you don't want to kind of like get your partner in a bit annoyed of, oh, now he's asking to change this, and now you want to remove that. And we actually found a good way to talk about that, and to find the right place for each other in this production. And and shortening a short film is so much better than making it from 9 to 6. That was a very good direction. And again, and the more that you see the things processing, you see that it's actually it makes it very, you know where you stand in the production. It makes it easier. Also, you know that who is handling what, and it makes things more fluent and faster. So that was another thing. I mean, also the decision on the certain programming, on the systems, on the software that Lokey is using compared to what the Hive are using, we didn't see eye to eye in that kind of manner, and we decided to just focus our efforts on different aspects that we could support, because at the end of the day, they are the one handling the production, and we wanted to kind of input and help in what way we could. And so it was very easy to work. It still is easy. So I mean, I hope it will keep on going. Maybe now that we know each other in person, it will change. But no, I'm joking. But you never know.
Well, I wanted to say that before we do such decisions at the edit, I created a very rough animatic. It wasn't representative as far as concerning the artistic approach, but it clearly served the story. And so after we had the video, I decided to, along with all the recommendations and the suggestions from our producers, to take it to the editing and get it done by a proper editor, not me. So it will not feel sorry for cutting shots and things like that. So we had it shorter by 2 minutes at least and more. Which helped a lot, making the story more compact and shortened the production time and expenses, of course.
Great, thank you so much. Can we turn to some questions? Anyone? Oh.
Thank you for the presentation. Congratulations for the film, and also for the sounds a very healthy collaboration, which is a very good example and thing to know. I wanted to ask about the film itself. Stelios, you were in Olympia Creative Ideas Pitching Lab with this film last year, I think.
Yes.
How about the age group that you are aiming? Is it the same? Has it changed through time?
Yes, it hasn't changed ever since. Thank you for the question. Yes. we are also aiming to be able to be accessible for and properly made for children up to one certain age. So yeah, we try to simplify the symbolism and make it understandable for lower ages children. So it hasn't changed something ever since we were at Olympia.
Stelio, tell us how come you jumped from live action to animation? Why?
This is a very good question. Thank you. So it was completely driven by the story. The characters are cats and mice. It was very difficult to do it live action. I tried. I have to say, I tried to somehow convert it and being able to do it live action, because this is more or less where I come from. But it didn't work, so I decided to do it an animation, which is very interesting because I'm not an animator. I just had the privilege to work as a sound designer in some animation projects quite early. So I saw a lot of different animation techniques being developed. So I was kind of relative with, and it wasn't completely a dark path for me. I knew some things, so made it a little bit easier.
So my question was going to be, so the way that Greece is set up and the way that Israel is set up, was the only choice that Greece would have to be the majority in the co-production, or that was just a choice that you guys made? Like, I didn't understand because you guys were saying about things that are challenges, so it would have been difficult to be the other way around. It's just a choice that you made on this level.
Yeah, I think this was the right way. I mean, for us to, if we would become a majority, it would be to get more financing in the Israeli side, and that would have taken longer, and production would have been postponed. And essentially, we wanted to jump on the horse, and start writing. So we kind of we managed to get this regional fund because it was just in the right time for us to apply. And we were able to get it approved. So I think that it would have been any other way, in that kind of manner. But I think that also the financing, you have to work it out that when it's a co-production, it's usually you can't invest in the other country. So we are supporting as much as we can, but we are doing what we can with our capabilities of the budget on our side of the world. It's like 1 hour away, but it is that kind of collaboration. So whatever we can support, we would.
Sometimes when we hear about these kinds of conversations on co-productions, especially if we're not producers, they sound like it's a mountain of like conversation and paperwork and stuff. I mean, Maria, I don't know if you've gone through a co-production experience before, but
No.
It's not?
No, I haven't. So for us, it was easy because we said, we have the funding from the Greek Film Center. We're doing our own investment, so we're just looking. It was a decision that we made from our side, and we of course discussed it with Stelios. But this is what we said, that we're not gonna go and search for a lot of co-productions in order to get into many bureaucratic paths. So we said we had our own funding, Greek Film Center, our own investment, discuss it with Stelios, said, okay, we'll have to fill this part, and then that's what we did. So it's not, it's not an example of getting a lot of countries and going through procedures in a lot of countries. I haven't done that. So this is why I'm still very happy with this project.
Great. Well, thank you very much.